Look, JD is fantastic and Marco is fantastic.
How are they
both
different?
doing a
How are they
great
different?
job. And I do think this. It's a great question. I think that's your most interesting question.
Yeah.
I would say one is slightly more diplomatic than the other. I think they're both of very high intelligence. I mean, you know, they will do shows. They will do Joe Rogan as opposed to the opponent not doing it because they couldn't handle it. They will be able to do whatever they have to do. I think there's a difference in style. You know, you can see the style yourself, but they're both very capable. I do think the combination of JD and Marco would be very hard to be beaten, I think. But you never know in politics, right?
On January 21st, 2029, do you see any scenario where you are still president?
I don't know. It would be interesting. But wouldn't it be terrible if I agreed with, you know, if I gave you the answer that you're looking for? It would make life so much less exciting, right? It would be so much less exciting. But I only do this for one reason. Make America great again. And that's what we're doing. We're making America great again, greater than ever before. Our country is greater than ever before.
Now, this, of course, is an election year. In November, the midterms, and that's going to be a handbrake. It looks like the Democrats will win, probably win big, but there's a chance it could happen even sooner than that because the Republicans are down to just a one-seat majority and a by-election between now and November means the handbrake comes on early. What do you think the handbrake looks like when the Democrats control the House, but the president is still in charge of the country?
Well, right now, I think it's looking terrible for Republicans in the midterms. There was just a state Senate seat that came up for election in Texas in a district President Trump won by 17 points in the presidential election that went Democrat. So it's not great. The harbingers of things to come, not great. Having said that, Joe Biden managed to stem the bleeding and stop it from being a total bloodbath. And it's possible Trump will do that too. Although Trump scares people, you know, he scares people and the media makes sure of it. He's got a very dishonest media. So I think the Democrats will easily win the House in the midterm election. And I really just hope that the Republicans can hold on to the Senate. That was considered impossible for the Dems to take over the Senate before. Now most people put it like a likely 51-49 situation. Republicans maintain control. But we'll see. I don't think if the Democrats just win the House and the Republicans hold the Senate, anything is going to change other than we're going to have investigations every week. And probably Trump will be impeached, which we don't care. Impeachment is just like an indictment, but the trial takes place in the Senate. So if the Republicans continue to control the Senate, he'll be fine. He won't actually be convicted, which is what you really worry about. But I think we'll have investigations every other week, which, okay, that's fine. I mean, that's a waste of our government's time. But it's not like President Trump was going to get a bunch of legislation through in the remaining 3 years that he won't anyway. He's gotten none through. None. He has the Laken-Riley Act, which did tighten down the illegal immigration situation somewhat. He got his tax bill through, which extended the Trump tax cuts, which was good. He passed his budget. That's it. That's it. So, he can't get anything through because in the Senate, even though Republicans have 53 votes right now, you need 60 to get a vote on the legislation for so-called cloture. Without cloture, you don't get a vote on the substance of your bill. So it's really, unless you have 60 votes now, or 60 senators on your side, which is near impossible, you can't get legislation through. That's where we are now. So it's, not that big a difference.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about it because, again, in Australia, so much of the coverage is about the prism of Trump. The reality is that under the Trump presidency, Congress, yes, exists, but the authority is very much in the actions of Donald Trump. What he does with a pen is really more mighty than the laws that are being passed by the Parliament. The truth is that regardless of what happens in the House, the president still remains all-powerful, right?
No. If they get control of the Senate, too, that now it's going to get interesting on the impeachment front. But even those Democrats that have to worry about actually impeaching the sitting president, they would. I don't know that they'd get every vote. In any event, I don't think much is going to change. I mean, what my own concern is the executive branch has gotten so large and powerful, way more so than it was meant to be. We broke off from England because we didn't like having a king. And we intentionally made the executive branch the smallest and the weakest. We wanted Congress to have all the power because they're the only ones who answer directly to us every 2 years in the case of the House of Representatives, 6 in the case of U.S. senators. But the point is, those 2 years make a difference. So we can fire them all, in 2 years if we don't like the way they vote on legislation. It's difficult. And a president is, of course, 4 years. But now it's grown so important and so powerful because nothing can get through Congress because of that 60 vote thing. And it used to be that even if you were a Senate getting ready to vote no, a senator saying, I'm not going to vote for that bill, you'd still vote for cloture. You'd know, the only reason you wouldn't allow it to have a bill is something really extreme. But now that's standard obstructionist tactics in the Senate. It's the whole system of government, the way it was designed, has run into some serious roadblocks in the past 5 years, which is why Team Trump says they should get rid of the filibuster. If you got rid of the filibuster, those 60 votes wouldn't be necessary anymore. But we can't do that because then you have no minority rights ever in the Senate, and that shoe will be on the other foot one day, and I don't think that's a good idea. So it's just not working the way it should, and we shouldn't be in a country where either domestically or internationally, huge policy shifts happen every 4 years. Normally we pass a law, and then we're going to live with that law for a long time unless we can, really get it repealed, which is tough, or get it struck down by a judge. But now it's just executive orders every 4 years, which have huge pendulum shifts. And our adversaries and our allies are feeling it, and we're feeling it internally, domestically. And so unless it's something that take, for example, the trans sports thing, Democrats actually are on our side on that. They just can't say it out loud. So that's not going to swing back the other way because they don't want it to. They can't say it out loud. Trump did it. Now they'll live with it. So I feel like that one actually is on its way to being solved. But virtually everything else will get swung back as soon as a Democrat is in there, since nothing's law. It's all just pen and a paper.